Hello everyone, it is 12 noon Pacific Standard Time for Friday, November 4th, and welcome to today's cryptocurrencies update. This is a pretty much I told you so kind of update because some cryptos are exploding higher, actually higher than I originally even thought, and that's great. Upside surprises are bullish, and some of these like MATIC slash Polygon and Binance coin were above their 50-day, 200-day, and Ichimoku cloud. That is the rocket signal. Okay, rockets not necessarily always take off. Launch times can be delayed. That happens due to weather and all those things, right? But eventually we'll get to launch because if things get above their 50-day and 200-day plus Ichimoku cloud, chances of good things happening increase tremendously. So let's have a look at these charts. You know all the house rules here that we use the scientific evidence-based approach. When the evidence changes, we change accordingly. If it doesn't change, the charts are bullish, I remain bullish. One can say it's going to go down. Well, maybe temporarily, it's fine. But if the chart is bullish, meaning price is above the moving averages are rising, it's above the Ichimoku cloud, we apply a bullish Elliott wave count until proven otherwise. Ethereum and Bitcoin are all tracking along nicely. Sorry, I'm sliding the wrong way. And remember, there are many ways for you to use my knowledge and insights to the best of your portfolio return. Last but not least, bigger picture, I remain longer term. I wouldn't say extremely bullish, but let's just say objectively bullish on the cryptos. So here we go. Here are the charts. So here we have Avalanche. Avalanche, as you know, yesterday I was tracking this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Okay, subdividing wave 3 in green and wave 4 here. That was the low 2 days ago, which on a closing basis is exactly 38.2% retrace of the whole length of wave 3. And now all we need to do is make a higher high, and then we have 5 waves up. After 5 waves up, expect at the minimum 3 waves down and another 5 waves higher. So the 3 waves down will be the buying opportunity. Okay, that is for the next rally higher. Oh, let me go here. This was the chart. So we still need to make a little bit higher above, let's see here, Monday's high. If we can do that, then I have 5 waves up. Okay, then we have the exact same path as shown on the closing basis. Okay, closing basis is, or closing price is the most important price of the day. I know cryptocurrencies trade 24/7, 365, but London midnight time is when we move from the previous day to the next day. That then closes the candle for that day, and all your indicators are based on that. Your moving averages, your MACD, your money flow, support, resistance, all of those are based on that last number. Everything else, not so important. Binance coin, look at this one. Beautiful symmetry path, right? We said if it breaks above 300, it will target around 330, 325-ish plus or minus 5. If it closes above that one, so we're using closing prices again, we can target 355. Behold, where are we? This is literally, I told you so. Okay, this is what happens when you get above the cloud and the 200-day, the 50-day, etc. Chances of good things happening increase. Okay, of course you can already have a rally below the 200-day. Absolutely, that happens. But you do want to have the odds on your side. If you don't like to have the odds on your side, go to Las Vegas and you'll lose all your money eventually. That's just the odds. The odds are never in your favor. The odds are in your favor with this type of analysis, right? We do very educated guesses. That's what we're doing. It's still a guess. I would rather say assessment. Assessment is a much better term. That said, very nice symmetry keeps on going. If we close above 355, look, today's high is 359, then we can target 385. That's another symmetry level. So far, we've been symmetrical, moving symmetrically higher since about 275, 300, 325, 355, etc. Look how all those levels match also with prior support and resistance. This is no coincidence. Okay, there is no coincidence. It seems all predetermined. And from a Elliott Wave perspective, look at that. We bottomed nicely here for wave 4. This is the adapted wave count. And now we're blasting higher for this wave 5. We've reached the ideal wave 5 upside target, but we might as well move a little bit higher. I like the way that, the technical indicators are setting up for another 4-5 sequence. We just had this 3-4 sequence, and I think we're going to get another 4-5 sequence. That should then be ideally green wave 1, then we get wave 2, and then 3, 4, and 5, much higher. I have this ideal 3/C target zone in place, but most often cryptocurrencies extend well beyond what is typical. And these target zones, as I show you here in red in the upper end of the chart, are actually based on stock markets. And I know by now that cryptocurrencies move often with much longer extensions. But it's just a initial price target. We'll adjust accordingly. Once this wave 1 here tops and we get a wave 2, we can then, of course, assess how high this red wave 3 will go. Bigger picture wise, please remember, I still view this as the starting gates of this primary 5 to new all-time highs. We had the overlap here. This is a monthly chart, by the way, a couple of months ago in the summer with this A wave low. So we cannot make 5 waves lower. With that confirmed, we knew we'd then have to look higher. We're back above 300. We're back above the 10-month moving average. So far this month, of course, we have 27 or 26 more days to go, but it starts to look good. The whole pattern here still looks good for this new primary 5 wave higher. So we had here the leading diagonal, a double zigzag lower, and now we're impulsing higher, excuse me, as well. So I like it. I remain bullish. Support of resistance is turned into support. Picture perfect. I'll bet you we're going to retest the 375 level somewhere around there for this gray wave 4, and then a last gray wave 5 on negative divergences. That should set up nicely in the chart to signal that the next wave down is going to happen, which is a buying opportunity. All right, let's have a look here at Bitcoin. Big boy Bitcoin has now done 5 waves up since the October 13th low. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. I know I shared yesterday and previous day the hourly chart as well, which would suggest that wave 1 had already topped. It was simply an interpretation of, if you can see my cursor, this price action here. But again, I prefer the daily chart over the hourly chart. Once again, this shows that the smaller your time frame, the more likely actually your wave count is wrong, because there's so many scribbles and it is a interpretive art. So if there are more scribbles, your interpretation has a higher chance of being wrong. If you simply use down days as corrective and up days in an impulse as the leading direction, you're good. So I now have pretty much confirmed 5 waves higher because we made a higher high above the late October high. Picture perfect. I like it. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. We probably have to wrap up some nano waves for Bitcoin to complete. Now we're looking good for Bitcoin. This is a chart I haven't shared for a while. We broke here above 20,500. Perfect. We already broke here above 20,000. Perfect. And we broke here above 19,750. All these lines, horizontal lines. So now we're back above the 50, the 10, the 20, and the cloud. All right. We know what that means. When that happens, chances of good things happening increase tremendously. I know the wave count suggests we should see this wave 2 be pullback first, which is fine. It can happen. But this looks good. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I like it. So far, so good. I see no reasons to change my tune until the market tells me so. Here we have Ethereum. This is the daily chart of Ethereum. The preferred path was this orange, gray, gray. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Of course, the minutest of details I cannot catch with these arrows. The arrows simply provide the general path forward. Sometimes the highs and the lows exactly to the arrows, and sometimes they're not, but that's fine. It's all about what is the general path. Corrective price action into Wednesday's low, ABC lower, and now we're impulsing higher. Also here, I still like to see a last micro nano wave higher. It's not even necessary, but it looks pretty good. I've adapted the hourly chart as well to match that with the daily chart since we made a higher high. So we have wave 1, wave 2, which was a flat, and now wave 4 here was a zigzag. Rule of alternation, perfect. We did not break below this wave 4 low here at 1482. So now the previous low here made 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I think on Wednesday it was. Yeah, that was Wednesday. The Wednesday low needs to break, and then wave 2/B is confirmed. All the time I said the price action down is corrective. It was certainly corrective. That looks like a double zigzag. All right. So again, the hourly chart could be interpreted as having completed this green wave 1A already at the late October high. It isn't. So this is what I mean with the interpretation of the price action. The more scribbles you have, the more interpretation problems you're going to run into. So you got to zoom out. All right. The more you zoom out, the more likely you're right. What I like is we bottomed here in this ideal wave 4 target zone. We bottomed here in the ideal wave 4 target zone, and we're now impulsing once again higher. Upside looks impulsive, it's all 5. Downside looks corrective, messy, overlapping. I like it. So I see no reason to change my tune. And once we complete wave 1, then we should see a wave 2B down to about, again, 1450 plus or minus 50. That's my ideal target zone. That should probably retest the 50-day simple moving average, and then it is blast off time for wave 3/C of larger 3/C. All right. So here we have linked or chair link. That's what it's called. Perfect. All right. It broke above the 200-day moving average with authority. It's above the cloud. It's above the 50-day moving average. I cannot say it often enough. Those are your key indicators of a bull versus a bear. This is starting to look really bullish, and I'm happy I bring you this chart in time because I think this has a lot of upside potential. I try to prefer to pick charts that are looking strong and good, and this one is strong because it was so close to the 200-day moving average. Perfect. No worries for FOMO. I mean, if this is going to run to $20, $30, $40, $50, we're just in the starting gates. But it looks good, just like everything else looks good. Now here's, of course, the complete kicker, MATIC. It definitely surprised me with today's candle, 23%. This is exactly what I mean with price breaking above the 200-day moving average, the 50-day, and the Ichimoku cloud. Those are the rocket ship indicators. And what a rocket ship it was. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to be honest. My crypto trading alert service went actually short a couple of days ago. It already kicked itself out, being stopped out, I think yesterday or even the day before yesterday. Well, you can say a losing trade. Well, keep on holding to your shorts if you can short. If you don't, you stay in cash. No harm done. But if you short and you get stopped out, you can see the damage you prevent. It's better to take a 10% loss than keep sitting on it till it turns into a 30% loss. Trading is all about your risk management. If you do that, bingo, your name is Pingo, and now you can go long again. Yes, it's a 20% rally, all that stuff, but it happens. There are always a few losing trades. This is a fantastic testament to why price needs to get above the 200-day, 50-day, and cloud. I cannot say it often enough. And now wave count wise, it's definitely turned more bullish. And this is always the initial starting gates of a move. But that's why I also want to have the trend is your friend chart included, so that we don't get too hung up all the time on the wave count and misinterpret some overlapping price action. Already here, late October, I said, excuse me, we are above these 3 key indicators. Chances of good things happening increased tremendously. Now, MATIC, I said late October, needs to close below the 200-day and the cloud to signal that this is all just part of a corrective price action. It didn't. Yesterday, strong candle already. This was technically a breakout because we closed yesterday or opened today above the previous highs, and here you go. What a squeeze, so to say. So I think we're in a 1-2-1-2-1-2 setup. I prefer to look higher, and the alternative wave count that I originally had is of course off the table. Right? That's now completely off the table. So you can see it unfortunately takes a while before we can kind of discard a bearish alternative wave count. And we have now broken with authority through the ceiling. That was pretty much your signal, right? The $1 level. This is a fantastically looking chart. So I've upgraded to a 1212. I see no reason to change my tune. Zooming out, looks good for here for this 1-2 setup. Similarly to what we see here on the daily time frame. Leading diagonal, ABC lower. We can argue that the October 13th was a failed C wave of a complex correction, but for now it's not necessary. We'll leave it as is. I prefer to look higher. What does it take to look lower? We simply have to go below the breakout level, warning 1, and we have to go below 95 cents. That's warning 2. Monthly chart, I know the monthly chart is still very young, but this starts to look really good for this 1-2 setup. So then we get 3, 4, and 5 for 1. Then we get a bigger pullback for 2. Let me show you that based on the Ethereum chart that I have. Oh, that one. Let's see here. Give me please 1 second. I'll try to find it. Oh, not this one. Not one. This one. So we should be here in these starting gates, okay, for MATIC. So something like this. So we've just gone 1 and then 3, 4, and 5. We've got a big pullback for 2 and then off to the races. So MATIC should be something similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, right? Larger 1. Then we get the 2 and then off to the races. Okay, still early days, but looks really, really good. Alternatively, this is already 1 of 5 and 2 of 5. All of them look higher. So I prefer to look higher. Solana still have some work to do. Again, just break above $38, then I'll be happy. Until then, not happy. Meaning I still prefer to look lower. Here we have the most complicated correction of all times, Mara and Riot. Remember, this turned from a simple ABC into a complex double zigzag WXY. I hate to use these, but there's no other way to explain this than a WXY. The W can also be a larger A, then the recent high was a larger B, and now in wave C. And here are the target zones for an ideal 3, 4, and 5 setup lower. Just like Marab topped exactly into the ideal target zone for a third/C wave. That's why I label everything 1A, 2B, 3C, okay? And then we let the market decide if it wants to do a 4 and a 5. If not, then it is an ABC and we're gonna look lower. I'll tell you, honestly, I went long Mara here when it went into the ideal wave 4 target zone, and I had a stop on a close below that target zone, and it closed below it. All right, losing trade, it happens. Moving on, now I'm gonna look here for this wave 5 target zone to load up the boat once again. That's how you use my work with target zones. So we should now be in this wave 4. Wave 2 was an update. Wave 4 should be something sideways. Ideal target zone doesn't have to be reached, but getting close already on today's high. And then the final wave 5 to about, I would say, $9 to $9.50, maybe 10 to 9.5. So let's make it 9.5 plus minus a half. So far, so good. I like it. Similarly for Riot, WXY, extremely complex. This is pretty much a most people would call it a double to triple zigzag. Also here, we bottomed exactly in the ideal wave 3 target zone for this C wave lower. Now in wave 4 and then a final wave 5 at around $5.25. Okay, similarly here, went long, it didn't work, broke out, losing trade, it's okay, moving on. Plenty of winning trades, cut your losses short so you prevent this entire drop from $7 to $5, which by the way is like a 30+% loss, and then we'll see again. Okay, if it has turned into a WXY, this can even turn into more complex. But so far, at some point, complexity needs to end, and we continue to have massive positive divergence developing, but no reaction so far. Okay, so everything still looks great. MATIC is definitely a fantastic upside surprise, but testament to why we need to get above the 200-day and 50-day moving average, and why it means good things will happen. If you use the 200-day moving average to go long and short, or to buy and to sell, you've done fantastically. Okay, So here we closed above it. Boy, we closed below it. You had a tiny little loss. We closed above it, and look where you're now. Unbelievably, this of course completely makes up for this tiny little loss. All this time, if you use a 200-day moving average, you would not have touched MATIC, or if you were able to, you would only short it. Okay, so everything else still looks pretty good on track for the 3-4-5 setup for Ethereum. Same for Bitcoin, a 3-4-5 setup, then a pullback, and then we should see a pretty decent rally. Binance coin as well, upside surprises, I like it. Also a testament to why we want to see price above these 3 key indicators. And Binance coin shows the importance of symmetry in the markets. Okay, so that's all I have for Avalanche. Last but not least, please make a higher high above Monday's high. Then we have 5 waves up confirmed. Still looks like it would want to. And then the next pullback will be corrective and will lead us to another 5 legs higher. And we'll then determine if that's just going to be an ABC or not. But even a C wave can be longed as long as you always use proper stops. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I think it was a great week. I love it. Maybe you think I was too reserved on some of these cryptocurrencies, but I want to show you the potentials that are in the chart, but using also the trend charts and of course these ceilings and floors. You break above the ceiling, off to the races. 9 out of 10 times we go based on the wave count and where the trend is of the chart. If the trend is friendly, buy the dip. If the trend is not friendly, sell the rip. Take care, trade safe, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all on Monday. Bye.